Live from New York City, it's the Gary Null Show. And now, your host, Gary Null.
Hi, everyone. I'm Gary Null. I'd like to welcome you into a new year and a whole lot of new information. In fact, every day, Monday to Friday, noon to 1 Eastern Standard Time, Tuesday evening, 7 to 8 on the Progressive Commentary Hour, I try to bring information that the mainstream media is either not attending to or is doing so in a very biased way. What is the truth in all issues? We always begin with the latest truth on health. And the truth is that as long as we make positive decisions in the majority of cases, we're not asking for perfection, then you should live at least in a healthy manner into your 90s, if not over 100. And I'm not talking about being completely debilitated, as we seem to think that people are going to be aging because most people don't make positive choices. You make a positive choice, eat clean, healthy food, drink clean water, exercise, do your stress management, deal with issues, and be grounded in the purpose and importance of your own life mission. Watch how much longer you live, how much better you feel. We begin our program every day with the latest on peer-reviewed literature. Every single study I share comes from the Library of Medicine, the National Library of Medicine, which is the official repository of all high-quality literature. And this comes from the University of Ibadan in Nigeria. It's about lemongrass. Now, lemongrass tea, which is easily available, can help prevent memory decline. Nigerian researchers tested the ability of lemongrass to protect memory from the effects of amnesia. In this particular laboratory model, they treated the mice with water-based extracts of lemongrass and demonstrated better memories than the untreated. University supported this research, and it was published in the Journal of Herbs, Spices, and Medicinal Plants. So that's important. And they didn't use a lot. They only used 25 to 100 milligrams of lemongrass extract. And if you make some lemongrass tea in the morning, it would just be whatever's in a tea bag into a cup of hot water, let it steep for about 10 minutes. Then if you want a sweetener, stevia, or coconut sugar or manuka honey, all of those are good. And then you get the benefit, right? Something good, something new. Also, one of the things we have found in almost all the anti-aging studies we've done up to this point, 5, good hydration is linked with healthier aging. Now, this is a study from the National Institute of Health, the National Heart, Lung, and Blood Institute. They say that adults who stay well hydrated are healthier, develop fewer chronic conditions, such as heart and lung diseases, and live longer than those who may not get sufficient fluids. That's according to the National Institute of Health study published in Biomedicine. And so they looked at 11,255 adults over a 30-year period. That's a long time. And they found that, well, if people are not fully and hydrated, they end up suffering from a lot of conditions. And I can tell you this, having been a long-distance marathoner for decades, doing hundreds of races, that almost no athletes that I tested in our natural living, running, and walking club over those decades was fully hydrated. Because when you're exercising, you have what is called insensible profuse and sensible perspiration. And when you're profusely sweating through your body, your skin, your armpits, your groin, your feet, you generally don't pay attention to it. But it's a lot of fluid depending upon how hot it is and how long you are out there running. But just in a normal day, if people have a defect in a part of the brain creating either hydrodipsia or polydipsia, it means you need water, but your body isn't telling you to drink water. And so we need to be hydrated. So there are simple charts that tell you how much liquid you should have. Now, that would include any liquids, soups, and also smoothies and juices, as well as water. But if you want to stay healthier, then make sure that you're hydrated. And start your day, every day, with either a glass of water, 12-ounce glass of water with the juice of 1 lemon in it, or a 16-ounce glass of celery juice with lemon and ginger in it. That'll help you also. Now, mind you, this is mainstream research. It also can help lower your systolic blood pressure, cholesterol, blood sugar levels. That's also important because all those lead to cardiovascular, respiratory, metabolic, and renal and immune system dysfunction, or properly hydrated, proper function. Right? And the older you get, more likely you are not to be fully hydrated. Now, how would you know if you're fully hydrated? Simple. There is a simple scale, costs somewhere in the neighborhood of $40, and it gives your weight, but more importantly, it tells you when you stand on it, what exactly is the percentage of your body liquid, bone mass, helps you prevent osteoporosis, body mass index, which measure your body fat, and muscle. Well, those are important to know. So if you know those, then you can see if you've got the right amount, too little, or too much. From Medical University in Taiwan, ginger is found to inhibit human respiratory virus. That's important. The researchers from the Taiwanese Medical School have determined that fresh ginger is an effective treatment against the human respiratory virus, RSV. The researchers from the College of Medicine at the university tested fresh ginger and dried ginger against the RSV infection and that infects human liver and lung cells. The researchers found that the fresh ginger inhibited the attachment of the virus to the cells and also stimulated the INF-beta secretions that help counteract viral infections among the cells of the mucosal membranes. Remember, if you should come down with COVID, one of the first things you should do is on about every 3 hours, flush your nasal passages. You can get saline solutions that then you can put colloidal silver or other elements in it that really kill off the virus in the mucosal membranes. That's where a lot of it's congregated, right up here, the whole mucosal. Just flush it out, clean it, and it can help. And the inhibition of the virus occurred more readily amongst the lung cells, illustrating the potential for ginger to inhibit infection of the lungs. So why not just take ginger each day? You can take a small piece. If you're watching right now, about that size, about 2 inches by 1 inch, and you juice it. Or you can get ginger concentrate. You can get ginger powder, but I prefer the fresh ginger. And so it makes a big difference. It has strong antibacterial and antiviral properties, and that's important. Now, next up, the University of New South Wales found that perfectionists are more likely to burn out. The people who can't stop trying to be perfect. Now, just think of, for example, think of all the men and women who in their teens are found to be very attractive. They have almost what we would call perfect features. You know, the one side of the face is symmetrical with the other side, and they just look right? And then all those people who starve themselves become bulimic or anorexic or go through various cosmetic procedures to try to get that artificial look. Well, now take a look at all the people who never acknowledge they're wrong. They hold on to an idea without ever asking themselves, have I tried to deconstruct this belief of mine to see if it's real or not? And have I listened to other people to see if they can find the imperfections in what I consider perfect ideology? Think of all the times you've had conversations with people with different ideologies, different religious beliefs, different cultural beliefs. How open were any of those individuals to acknowledge there is no perfection? There's only an effort towards being better. And in which case, then you burn out. All the people I knew, mainly my professional friends, we didn't hang out together. We didn't go to dinner and movies together, but we exchanged information. And And it was a wonderful relationship. But there were those amongst them who were perfectionists. And they tended not to have a sense of humor. They tended not to be interreflective. They tended to project everything from the outside world. In other words, what's wrong out there? Because it's not wrong in here. Regrettably, for all my friends, not a lot, who had this kind of perfectionist attitude, there was never a day of rest. There was working nonstop. One of them was the director of the Institute of Applied Biology. Without question, one of the most intelligent scientists, innovative and creative scientists. He was a genius. But he never took a day off. He never really listened to what anyone else had to say. In other words, when you stopped talking, then he would correct you and tell you what the right answer would be, whether it was or wasn't. And so people simply adapt, or what I call maladaptation, to the environment or people in it. And guess what happens when you maladapt? You become an extension of that energy. Have you ever been around people who simply never see the limitation of their own beliefs? I have. And I developed a name for this. It's called maladaptation syndrome, where there's something in the relationship you have that you feel you need, true or not, that is servicing you, is harmonizing, maybe harmonizing with a negative energy rather than a positive energy. We think of harmonizing as something positive, but you can have a negative harmony also. And so let's say this person just feels like they are a victim. No matter what the circumstances they're about to do, they know they're not going to come out of it right. Someone is going to victimize them, whatever it is. Never taking responsibility, but always being able to show the imperfections in everyone else or everything else. The chronic whiners, the chronic complainers. I recently had to tell someone the reason I no longer want to speak to them, or wouldn't, is because every single interface would have a negative outcome, because these people have a negative view of the world. Everything is scarce. Love is scarce. Honesty is scarce. Good people are scarce. Decent police officers are scarce or non-existent. Politicians are all corrupt. And that's simply not true. But on the other end, you can be Pollyannish. Everything is perfect. Everything's our utopia. And I might have to take a drug to get that utopia. Might have to take Prozac or Xanath or Fexer or lithium. Or I might take marijuana or magic mushrooms. Or I might go to a yoga retreat or a cult ceremony and I'll find my perfection. No, you'll find an experience and you can maladapt to that until you become addicted to wanting that instead of what you have to face in the real world and the real issues. So here's the takeaway message. Life is not perfect. Even that most bucolic of scenes in one of the Impressionist paintings of the meadow is not perfect. Go and sit under one of those trees for an hour and see how long it takes you to get bitten by a tick. Not perfect. But it doesn't mean that we have to seek perfection. Instead, seek happiness, seek joy, and seek improving, and seek challenging yourself from your most valued beliefs and see, are they still worth valuing, holding on to? And you'll find a lot of things we've grown out of. That was okay then, it's not okay now. And that's part of life. So that's what the University of New South Wales found. People with perfectionist traits are more susceptible to burnout, according to this just recently released study. They're more likely to have mood disorders, and there also, the study highlighted some of the warning signs of burnout and suggests that people who tend to be perfectionists are more likely to veer into burnout due to their own unrelenting standards. What is burnout? With the worries accompanying pandemic lockdowns, the pressure of inflation and other life stressors, many people are feeling at the end of their tether. For some people, the cumulative effects of these prolonged periods of stress can result in burnout. And unlike normal tiredness, the experts suggest burnout symptoms include constant exhaustion, emotional numbness, and confusion at home or in the workplace, and burnout is widespread among high achievers in the workplace, but it's becoming increasingly more prevalent in just personal lives. Just saying. All right. So you don't become one of those. And by the way, on this same topic, the University of California at Irvine School of Medicine found that stress speeds up vision loss by causing eye cells to die faster. Whoa. All right. Just one more thing that we should be concerned about. That's the latest on health and healing. I welcome you into the new year, and we're going to take a break. Then I've got a lot of interesting things to share with you right after the break. And remember, every single Monday, if you sign up for the Gary Knoll newsletter, you get a free copy summarizing all the material that I talk about on health and healing. All right. And if you sign up Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, which is not free, but very, very inexpensive, you get a tremendous amount of information that you can use. Back in a moment. Please stay with us.
Are you tired of closed-minded programming? Well, look no further than PRN.Live, the home for progressive voices.